Welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live. It feels like I haven't done this in ages, and it has been over a week. It's been 2 weeks, I think, so welcome. We have a cooking demo today with Laura Crotty from Broiled Grapefruit. We have some tech issues, but we're working them out in the background, which is awesome. So let's talk about some stuff since it's been a little bit. Let's see. Well, thank you to Follow Your Heart for sponsoring our lives this month. We love them. And if you're one of the lucky people to win their prize pack from Follow Your Heart, it is pretty freaking awesome. We just posted about it. Somebody got theirs and they took a picture of what they got. And there's like rocket cakes and feta cheese and other cheese and mayo and salad dressings. And Rory, our like great friend at Follow Your Heart, sends that out. So you could be one of the winners if you go to virtualvegfest.com and you enter the contest by going to the contest tab. You can win a prize pack from Follow Your Heart or Gain, Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, or Cinnaholic. Shrew Meats can't ship over the summer because it costs too much money to ship a frozen product. So we're going to regroup with them in the colder months, and hopefully that'll be back as one of our prize packs. So you get a chance to win 5 prize packs in July. It's pretty awesome. What else is going on? In-person events. July 25th, the main event at Cotton Branch in Leesville, South Carolina. We will be there with the vendors, and there's a fundraising dinner that you can sign up for. There's only a few spots left, so if you're thinking about it, I would jump on it right away. And then August 15th is Greenville Fun Fest, the inaugural event in Greenville, South Carolina. Our vendor lineup's amazing. And tickets are on sale, so you can just easily go to vegfestexpos.com and you can buy tickets. You can see all our events at vegfestexpos.com. I'll put that on the screen for you and in the comments, simply to see like all the events that we have going on. So there you go. And then August 22nd, we have Scruffy City Vegan Fest in Knoxville, Tennessee. Super duper awesome. And then we jump around and go to October. Very, very busy month in October. October 3rd is Asheville Vegan Fest in Asheville, North Carolina. October 9th is Nashville Veg Fest in Nashville, Tennessee. And then October 16th and 17th, we are partnering up with the Seven Bridges Marathon to bring you Chattanooga Veg Fest. And then here at home in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, October 23rd, we're doing my guest is gone. She'll be back. October 23rd, we're doing the mac and cheese cook-off, the vegan mac and cheese cook-off here in Raleigh, and it'll be combined with the market, and it's going to be pretty awesome because it is our 6th year for vegan mac and cheese. We actually got it in 2020 because we did it in February, and March is when everything closed down, and thankfully no one got sick. Because who knew? Well, somebody knew, but they didn't really tell us. So we have an abundance of events, and then our good friends, our great friends in Atlanta Vegfest, have their festival on November 6th. We are going to that event, so super excited about that. And there's a bunch of festivals. Outdoor, all our events are outdoor, outside because of COVID. But a lot of them are covered, some of them are not, but some are covered, and you can totally come to the events. So Laura Crotty is today. I'm going to bring her in. Hopefully everything's okay. She's in the green room. We're going to do a cooking demo of Caesar salad, which always influences what I might make for dinner. And she's broiled grapefruit, and I want her to share with you who and what she does. And I will bring her on right now. Here we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Hi, Helene. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. We got it. I just did an extra long intro, so we're all good.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. We've got a few technical difficulties, but I guess
Well,
I'm going to have to
you'll be
uh,
fine.
bring things up for you to see, unfortunately.
That's all right. I think I think the most important thing is I'm going to throw this at you and tell everyone who you are, what you do. You don't have to be short. Take some time and explain broiled grapefruit and how the concept before we even jump into the food.
Wow. Well, broiled grapefruit started decades ago, really. I used to collect old cookbooks, which I still do now. They're just a great source of comfort for me. the stories they tell and the food and the ingredients. I just really love reading them, and I just escape with old cookbooks. So that was the concept. And then when my kids got older, I just wanted to start a blog about old cookbooks. And that's really how it started. And from there, I trained as a culinary professional in health supportive cooking, and that kind of weaved its way into plant-based eating. And I got into plant-based eating for personal reasons, really. I struggled with health issues when I was younger, and I realized when I ate plant-based foods how well I felt. And I've been in and out dabbling with as trends come and go and information comes and goes. You try to do what's best for yourself. And I've always been of the mindset that, everybody is different and health for everybody is different. So I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a purist. I'm more about staying informed and listening to what's right for yourself and not being influenced by trends. But I do think plant-based eating is extremely important for everybody at one level or another. And it led me to, develop a blog, and the blog turned into a cookbook. And my cookbook was just recognized by the Next Generation Indie Book Award. I'm very proud of that because it was a very long road to make the cookbook, and it was really nice to be recognized. My little cookbook.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. And is this recipe in the cookbook?
This recipe is not. This is really just for summer. The recipes in the cookbook are desserts from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, 1950s, 60s, and 70s, my favorite decades. So they're kind of curated from those eras from a tremendous amount of cookbooks. And then the recipe today is from the Gourmet Menu Cookbook 1963 edition. So, look at the size of this. It's just enormous. And this cookbook, I don't usually collect cookbooks like this. I collect cookbooks with a lot of graphics and color. That's just how I roll. I love color, and I love, the excitement of those old pencil drawings in Tiffany blue, or the plaid dress a woman is wearing in all cartoons. I just love that. Even the lighting in the 70s versus the 60s is so different. All those visuals I really like, or the styling, I should say, of the way they did those cookbooks. So this is an unusual thing that I bought this one, but as most people know that love books, there's something about it, holding a book and feeling it, especially a cookbook. It's going to resonate with you or not. So I can't explain why I love this, but something about the color maybe of the cover or the contents, it's in my collection. Who knows?
That's really cool. So you basically took the recipes. I'm pretty sure they're not vegan or plant-based, right?
No, I most of the recipes I create are vegan. Just because I'd say I'm in the 95 percentile and up of vegan. I just most of the food I eat is vegan. I love cooking this way. I love doing things that are light and feel good, or digested easily. The nutrients go right into your bloodstream. There's so many reasons. And this is my cookbook, by the way. Can you guys
Oh,
see that?
good. That's adorable.
There it is. And so there's a lot of so I took the photographs, and then there's a lot of really fun graphics also inspired by these old cookbooks, and it's all desserts, all the desserts we love, like fudgy brownies, and even my grandmother's 1940s lemon genettes. It's a literally all egg recipe, and you would never know. Nobody ever knows it's vegan. It's a skinny cookbook, very skinny, because I wanted to make sure these recipes you'd never know they're vegan unless I tell you. So that's the cool thing. I really took a lot of time to make them delicious.
I love that. I love that you've taken like this old style stuff and made it. You're doing something where it's today, right?
It's
Because
today.
there's things that where I think I'm old enough too to understand some of these recipes.
Yeah.
so so you're kind of like, and it's really neat because obviously I heard about you with the Plant Based Network initially, and I don't even remember when we set this up. Must have been months ago,
It's
but
it feels like 2 years ago, doesn't it?
it does. It really does. It's like it's still 2021, but
You know.
it's pretty exciting because can you give an example of some of, like, I saw chocolate chip cookies, I saw brownies, but some of the stuff like that's like a 20-year-old would have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, the molasses the molasses bars, we all kind of suffered through our grandmothers trying to get us to eat molasses. It's loaded with nutrients and minerals. But, gingerbread, I'd say most 20-year-olds are pretty, cool with that. They're in the groove with gingerbread. But I have a molasses bar, which is literally a 1950s classic recipe with icing on it. It's just something very old school. I don't think they'd get that. I think they'd be like, ew, it's molasses bar. But it's just so good for vegans to get your B vitamins, and there's certain vitamins, B12, that aren't in the vegan diet inherently. And as you get older, you realize these nutrients are super important to keep your hair healthy, your skin healthy. And when you become vegan, if you've been vegan for a really long time, some stuff will catch up with you. You can eat all the foods you love to eat, but you do need to pay attention to certain minerals and nutrients. I just wrote an article about it. It's on my blog, lauracrotty.com. There are 4 essential nutrients that you need to pay attention to when you're eating, like B12, iron, zinc, vitamin D, which is in accordance to calcium. And I'm so not a technical person, but you need to be healthy, and when you're not feeling well. And most likely it's something lacking in your diet. So just kind of pay attention to that. I try to cook foods that are delicious, but also have my mind on getting my nutrition every day. You kind of have to think that way. Even if you're in your teens, everybody has to pay attention to that. We all do, especially as we get older.
When I
So,
turned 30, I went to the doctor for that like 30-year-old checkup, and she ran my B12 and my D, because what was happening is, I think it was maybe it was 40. It was probably 40, because I was in California. It was in New York. So it was 40, my 40-year-old checkup. And the doctor was like, "Well, you're 40, you got to like do all these things now." And I was like, "Oh, this is great." So she checked the D and the B12, and I was having issues at the time where I'd be talking to my friends, and then I would stop and be like, "What was I saying?" And they were like, "Something's wrong with you." So I was so deficient in B12 and D that the doctor said if I had been 70 years old, I wouldn't have known my name.
yeah.
So,
And like Helene is saying, it's not obvious. You could feel great in so many ways and be highly functioning, as most of us are. We're just doing our thing, but your body's suffering quietly, silently. And we want you to learn from our mistakes. That's why we're out doing this. Helene's helping so many people by doing this. And it's kind of like what I learn, I try to teach through just by example, just putting out fun books that are fun. And fun is so important. It doesn't have to be a chore to eat better. But no judgment here. It's just watch your vitamins. Eating meat, there's a reason people have done it for so long. It's pretty packed with obvious things. You don't need to think about it. But being more conscious, as most people are going into this lifestyle, just have to, just a little note to self. Anyway, enough of the
yeah.
nutritional lesson here.
It's important. I take the sublingual B12 every day. I take D3, vegan D3 every day. I'm no longer deficient. I have so much B12 the doctor said stop, but I like the taste of it, so I keep doing
Yeah,
it.
it's a good vitamin. You've got to send me that vitamin you're taking. I want to see that. You
Okay,
got to
no
try
problem.
that.
I went on to Amazon and did a search, and I found a B12, a vegan B12 that Dr. Michael Greger actually suggests. And I was like,
Awesome.
well, if it's good for him, I was like, it's good enough for
Now,
me.
was Dr. Michael Greger? He was on a show, correct? Did you interview him, or is this a different person?
Dr. Greger was on here. He did a 30-minute Q&A. Yep.
He did it. That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. All right, so I think it's time to cook. so,
All
so
right.
thank you for the conversation because that was great. Because it's important for people to get to know you. So I'm gonna switch screens, and we didn't set it up ahead of time, so it might be a little funky, but I think we'll be okay. Here we go.
You guys are gonna have to bear with this because the technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm gonna go into the corner.
Okay. See if I can get
Oops,
this higher.
I gotta swap us. One sec. There we go.
I'm gonna try to get the camera a little different angle. If everyone could be patient, give me a second.
Let's see if I can add me. There I am.
Let me see if I can raise you guys up a little bit so I can do this properly. So, I don't know. Let's see, is that working? Can you see me? You guys can't really see me. Let me see if I can move you back a little bit.
There you go.
Am I in a little bit? I'm
No,
cut
yeah, it's
off.
great. We can see a lot of you, so I think
Is
that's
that
good.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. All right, so we are going to we're gonna make the Caesar salad right now. And I have some croutons, if you guys can see these, just obviously your leftover bread. What a great thing to do, to stick them in a jar and have them ready for something like this. But before we assemble the salad, I'm gonna make the dressing for you guys. I'm gonna show you how to make this. It's really easy. And like I said, this was inspired by a 1963 recipe for Caesar salad. So what's really cool is the ingredients, and once you get started with these ingredients, it's so much fun. Like, I don't know about everybody, but I do have my favorite things that are not plant-based that I kind of miss sometimes, but not really. But anchovies are one of them. So instead of anchovies, this recipe is going to have capers. So we're going to use capers instead of anchovies, about a half a tablespoon of capers. And I soak my garlic in olive oil. That's kind of fun. Or even pickle it just to make it last longer, because I have issues with garlic sprouting. Does anyone have that issue? It's really annoying. But anyway, here's my garlic in oil that's going in there. 1 clove of garlic. Okay, so I talk a lot. Sorry about that. But half a teaspoon of capers and 1 clove of garlic. And then for kind of the cheesy thing, we're going to use our nutritional yeast, about a half a tablespoon, as well as salt and pepper. Sea salt, whatever kind of salt you want to use. I don't recommend black salt. That's really popular right now because of the egg. I don't recommend that. It's very, very fragrant, and whoever uses it knows what I'm talking about. And then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of Dijon, and 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice if you have it. Regular lemon juice is fine as well. And if you guys want, if anybody is really interested in this recipe, it's on my website, lauracrotty.com. You can just go there. It's literally vegan Caesar salad. And then a 1/4 cup of vegan mayo. I like the non-soy because unless it's organic, soy is one of the most processed plants out there. So you want to try to get organic whenever you use soy. It's just better for your whole body. And then we're going to add about a half a cup to 3/4 cup of water, and just wing it, just add it in there. I'm going to add the whole thing at once. All right. And now I am going to mix this. So give me a second. This might get kind of loud. And that's all you do is just literally mix it around. How easy is that? And you're done. You are done with your vegan Caesar. And it's so creamy and delicious. You can add less water. You can add more water. Make it the right pour for yourself. Whatever you consider a good pour, do that for your dressing here, okay? Now comes the best part. So if you want to make it like an entree or a dinner, I took tempeh, which again, loaded in B vitamins and all those vitamins and minerals that we need as vegans. I took some tempeh and I kind of marinated it in amino acids, the liquid amino acids that taste just like soy sauce, the Bragg's. And it's got that gray color, kind of looks like steak, doesn't it? So I'm going to put that on top. But let's assemble our salad. I've got some green leaf here. I'm just going to tear this up. What is your favorite type of lettuce, Helene?
That's a good question. I want to remind everyone who's watching that if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the box. We'll definitely address them. But I'm a big fan of romaine. I like organic romaine and organic like red leaf lettuce. I'm a fan of. We don't buy iceberg. I like organic cabbage. But I mean, romaine and the red leaf lettuce tend to be what I gravitate towards. The farmers market they're growing lettuce right now. So they actually, the Wake Forest Farmers Market, she grows the lettuce, cleans it, cuts it up to pieces, and puts it into bags and sells it. And I was like, yeah, it's perfect. It's delicious.
And where are you located, Helene? What part of the country are you in? I'm
in Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Okay. So you're kind of on the east side of the country. Okay, and I'm just adding sliced. I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest. So we're coast to coast here. You guys are getting people from both coasts. Yes. I did some organic carrots sliced up here, and some sweet onion, Vidalia onion, which is always delicious. And then I'm just going to generously pour this right over In fact, you know what? I think a little less water would be better. I do like it to be super pourable, but I think, quarter to half a cup is probably even better. You get a nice thick Caesar and just toss it up. And I'm going to plate this so you guys can take a look at what it would look like as an entree. I'm going to grab a plate. Hold on a second. Here we go. And dinner, I mean, what a great dinner in the summer when you're hot. I don't know about everybody else, but we just got through a heat wave here. It was about 200 degrees for 2 weeks.
Yep.
It was horrible. You know those days when you don't even want to eat? This is a great thing to whip together for everybody in the house. My hands are clean, don't worry. I wash my hands thoroughly. And we're going to take some of those great homemade croutons. Again, nutritional yeast, get all those vitamins and minerals in there. And there it is. 5 minutes, you are done. Look at that.
Yeah, I could eat that whole bowl.
You could eat the whole bowl, right?
The whole bowl.
And not feel bad about it. Why
not at all.
Yeah. It's as easy as that. There's so many good things to eat like that are like super easy to make and wonderful. Yeah,
that was that looks absolutely delicious. I'm gonna put us back to where we can talk.
Okay.
There we
go.
Sounds
good.
Yeah, no, that's I love. We eat salad almost every day, and I've made some dressings, but we don't eat it. It doesn't last as long. So there's a couple of salad dressings in the store that we absolutely love. Follow Your Heart actually has which one is it? I think their Caesar dressing is.
I like their cheeses too. They've got great cheese, right? They have. I find that Follow Your Heart, and there's another brand, Vitalife, that has a couple of slices that I'm finding are very pleasant. But Follow Your Heart, their Gouda and their provolone, I think are up there with the top vegan cheeses. I'm kind of determined to make my own cheese. I'm kind of done being dissatisfied with a lot of the flavors out there. I got to make some cheese and some ground beef. I'm going to start trying to make that from something that isn't a chemical. You know how a lot of the processed meats, they're kind of making vegan food for everyone that has chemicals, and I don't think they realize that most people that choose this lifestyle don't want to eat stuff that's processed. They want to get back to earth and the environment. They don't want like methyl cellulose in their ground. So I don't think it's harmful, that ingredient, but I'd rather just have beans. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe there's a way to make that work. So food for thought. My next project.
That'd be interesting to see what you come up with. I know Kathy Hester has been working on making stuff that's vegan and gluten-free, like sausages and hot dogs for people to be able to eat. And those plant-based processed foods, those vegan burgers, Beyond and Impossible, and everyone now, actually everybody has one.
Everybody's
they're made for the meat eaters, which is fortunate because it's like a transitional food. A lot of more healthy vegans don't eat that stuff or rarely eat it, or eat it when they're out. It's a treat. But for someone who's, thinking, oh, hey, I want to try this vegan thing, but I don't want to give up my burger, they don't have to.
They don't have to. Again, there's all kinds of vegan diets. There's like the vegan junk food diet, then there's the purist diet, and then there's the vegan that don't eat certain things. There's all layers of people's comfort zone with this type of food. But I do think, I don't know, I don't want to call it a junk food, but I think those burgers could be healthier for sure. Just you got from what I've tried, they taste great in a way. Some of them, not just a few, but they don't have that health benefit that I'm hoping for. That the pure ingredients where you read it and you're like, okay, beans, oats, and then it's oil, some kind of like healthy oil. That's just not there, unfortunately. So
no,
but I was doing some videos for Plant Based Network. We were working on connecting these old recipes with new, kind of what I've been doing on my blog, just trying to take old recipes or never forget the history or even as important or a little bit more important to me is the nostalgia behind foods that we love, that we grew up on, that remind us of our parents and like our mothers and happy times in our childhood. That's just a sweet spot for me. I really, really want to bring that back and not make it just about the food, but the stories behind the recipe. I think that's just something. I think everybody needs a lot of comfort right now. It's been a tough road.
It has, and I hear you because it is like I didn't like my mom's food growing up. Like she cooked, but she worked too, and I'm the youngest of four, and I'm the youngest by a lot of years of four. So it wasn't they didn't want to raise another child. So she would, and I have older brothers who would eat everything within like anywhere in the house. We'd have to hide food, like the whole thing, in order to like if we wanted,
It's
it'd be
gone.
gone, right? So she would make food on like Sunday for like the week. And I was so snobby when I was a little kid. And I didn't like leftover food, so I liked it when it was fresh. But she'd make all these things, and there are some things, interestingly enough, that I carried forward. And as a vegetarian, I made. And as vegan, there's one dish, and I think you might resonate with this. It is definitely from people who grew up during World War II times, because my mom was born in 1936. So it was a, what's it called? Like elbow pasta, not elbow pasta, bow tie pasta.
Bow ties,
Bow
okay.
tie pasta with peas and cottage cheese. Right? Cottage cheese easy to get, peas easy to get, the
Very
pasta
fun.
easy to get,
Yeah.
or egg noodles and the same ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And black pepper, salt, simple. Definitely a World War II, don't have a lot of ingredients dish. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't have, like, I think just recently somebody posted a vegan cottage cheese recipe that I
Mm-hmm.
haven't tried. But that's something that just that is all the food that my mom cooked. That's one of the things that resonated with me that I carried forward to kind of replicate. Like the feta cheese can kind of replicate it that Follow Your Heart has or
Yeah.
Violife has. Like there's so many options.
There's a
But
there's a lot of options, and I think the when you get into the pot cheeses, they're easier to make. I think you'd be surprised. But most people don't have time to make stuff from scratch. They just are very, very happy and grateful when there's products that service you. And I think the industry is changing rapidly. I think in the next 5, 6 years, there's going to be a lot of products out that are made by people with an understanding of living this lifestyle that are going into you know give these products to people. It's just hard. People have lives, they have jobs. It's a full-time job to make a product. So I think it's important to try it, but we'll see. I'd actually like to get into that market. I'm doing it right now, and I think it's not it's very necessary. Let me just put it that way. I think we need more products out there. That's why I'm doing it.
which is remarkable because comparatively, there's so many products
There's so
now.
many.
So
There are.
I mean, yeah. Who thought? I mean, especially over the past year or so. Of,
Well, yeah. What about 10, 20 years ago when, I was eating this way 10, 20 years ago? And I remember just going into, remember health food stores? They were just health food stores. We didn't have like the Whole Foods. We didn't have these big chains of alternative grocery stores that really catered to people that wanted something other than a meat-based diet. You really had to kind of track it down. It was so much fun when you could find a cookie without eggs or refined sugar. I just remember being excited and super loyal to those little. A lot of them were in upstate New York. These little companies, these cottage companies that would somehow go across the country. They'd make these cookies, and they took a life of their own. That's how it was back then. Now it's more. I don't know if it's hard to break out now. I do think quality will rise to the surface. I don't know. Hopefully, people will catch on, and by word of mouth, your product gets popular. I think that's,
yeah.
in a way, the best way to grow, by word of mouth. People are like, "This is really. Have you had this?" And then it's like a sleeper movie. Everybody clings onto it. It becomes like a cult classic. Those are the products that really, honestly, they're kind of out there. I think there's a lot of cottage products that are competing with the big boys, and they I don't know. Hopefully, they can handle a bigger market their organization, because some of them are really good. I can't I can't think of one right now. Some of the kimchi, local kimchi here, very small mom and pop companies are just incredible. Really, really high quality versus the big mass produced pickled cabbage I found. And they're, I think the some of the cheeses were very small. Some of the really good ones are super like Earth Tree, um, Mykonos. Is that how you say it? Mykonos.
Miyokos.
Miyokos. Thank you.
Yep.
That one. That was kind of a smaller artisan cheese, and then it just got really popular. I think
She's
you
blown
know
up. Miyokos is blown up.
blown up because
Yep.
she hits it right. Her cheeses are really good. Um,
It's, you know what, it's interesting to me because I'm not, Miyokos is amazing, but what I learned like a long time ago when I was still vegetarian, I went to a supermarket on Long Island and they had a cheese thing, like all these samples of cheeses one day, like dairy cheese. And I was walking through and you're trying like all these cheeses and what I found that day was I don't really like a lot of cheeses. I don't like
that's
them
actually
sharp.
I think that's good. I think that's good actually.
I just
You
like
know,
I don't like them sharp. I don't like them like these flavors. Like they taste like dirt, not dirt. They taste like this is gross. So I kind of left that scenario going. I guess my palate for cheese is like cheddar, mild, munchy, like mild cheese. Not a lot of flavor cheese. And
hmm
Miyoko's is like those cheeses that I tried that day in the market. It's packed with a punch, and I don't resonate towards that. So I haven't resonated towards her vegan cheeses, because they're like the cheeses that were dairy that I didn't really like.
they're like too strong. I'm just grabbing I'll be right back. Yeah,
Okay.
no, they have too much flavor, right?
And it's
I
not a
understand
bad
that.
thing.
No,
You
no, it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of like this. You find your flavor profile in your happy place, and you just kind of grow from there. And I think that has a lot to do with cooking too. I just like we were talking about earlier. I don't think people have to follow trends with their nutrition or their health. It's like plant based food doesn't have to be exclusionary. It doesn't have to be judgmental. It's really a good thing for everybody just to get more live vegetable based foods into your diet, whatever percentage that is for you, whatever your health is. It's going to help you. I think I've lived long enough to know that everybody can benefit from it. It's a very embracing, very loving community. I think people would be surprised by how wonderful everything is this way, going this way. Just try it. Try anything, whatever you. And I think it's a good. What you said is true. You kind of resonate with certain foods. That's where you start. You start with what you know, and if you want to get mock foods for a little while, there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine, and then eventually try to make something more a natural version of the mock foods, something that has ingredients you recognize, or even better yet, make it from scratch if you can. But again, there's more products coming out every day that are just they're getting better and better. And what I love about this is the price points are going to come down. So the more that you have, the more choices you have, the less expensive some of these mock products will be. Ready-made is what I mean. Ready-made products.
Mhm.
They tend to be very pricey, and it was that way, decades ago when this movement was just kind of really starting, and people were kind of demanding it with their wallets. They just wanted an alternative to the American diet, meat and cheese type stuff, but it was super pricey. I just remember cookies were $4. Uh, like one cookie was like $4.
It's a cookie
There
with
was this
less
one
ingredients in it.
with like five ingredients, peanut butter, extra nuts, salt, it's just nothing, flour. It was like nothing.
Applesauce, like nothing that cost a
Applesauce.
lot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, like you're charging $4 because you took ingredients out and made it healthier.
It's true. And I guess maybe it's cheaper. It probably is cheaper for people to use chemicals. I don't know, but I don't think they're necessary. I think you can get around that somehow with your pricing. I hope. Let's hope for that.
Yeah, and it comes down to demand too. The more they can make, the less expensive it costs to produce it, and the more people buy it, the more money they'll make because it costs them less to make it. I mean, depending on where they are in the process of and how much money. Because if we equate it to pharmaceuticals, then that's a whole different story. But food, it should like a DVR or VCR or DVD player or any type of technology when it first came out was a lot of money, and now you can buy a DVD player for I don't even know. I haven't even looked because everything you don't even need it anymore because
That's right.
we've expanded to on demand. So
I know.
it
It's amazing. But like the Xboxes, the DVD, they're gone. They're useless, kind of. I think I think food changes a little slower, but it's getting there. It's like there's things that are just becoming not necessary anymore. You know, I do hope that the meat and dairy industry does change, though. I hope it just there's an impact on what people are buying, and like you said, I do think money talks. How people are spending is going to make the change because the industries always go where the money goes. So it certainly seems like people are very interested in plant-based living for sure.
I believe that's the case. It's interesting because I have an event next month in Greenville, South Carolina. It's an inaugural event and it's an all vegan festival. I'm calling it Greenville Fun Fest instead of Greenville Vegfest. And
Okay.
it's intentional as call it a fun fest because I want people to not necessarily focus on the vegan side, but just come and have fun. And I'm hoping to get more people in the door that are not vegan because that's really the audience for the event is not vegan people because the vegans are going to come if they can come, right? And they
Yeah.
maybe bring a friend that isn't and say, "Hey, look at this! Like, eat this food. Listen, isn't this delicious?" Because it's the gateway drug. The food's the gateway drug. And
Absolutely.
a comment in a public group for Greenville in the city of Greenville, not vegan, just a Greenville activity group. Somebody said, why are you even highlighting that it's vegan? No one will come, like something like that. And I was like, well, our events have like somewhere between 1 and 7,000 people attend, so I think we're good.
I think you're good. Right.
I was like, but then
Like,
he was like, just change it to vegan food trucks, and I said, well, more people are conscious about what they're eating, the environment, health, the treatment of animals, COVID, and people have changed. Vegan doesn't have as much of a stigma as it did when we started this 7 years ago, doing events. We didn't use the word vegan. That's why it was Vegfest. It was like, can't use vegan, no one will come. That's not
mhm.
so much the case anymore. Vegan 7 years later is kind of like everybody knows what it is, whether they like it or not is something else, but everybody knows what it is. And somebody knows somebody who had a heart attack or cancer or strokes or diabetes, and somebody probably has said in their sphere, maybe you want to try changing your diet. So
Yeah.
here we come, and I kind of offered him a free ticket. I said, come check it out. You're not going to tell the difference. A
You're
festival's a
not.
festival. It's just no cruelty at this festival.
Yeah, I think it is. It's well, you're organizing it in a way that's open-minded and just inclusive. You're really trying to help people, and or I'm my goal is very similar, just different. I'm trying to entertain people in a way that's comforting, with food, because I love food, and I'll always ally with that and being as inclusive as possible, and not excluding people and not asking people, are you vegan? It's just not a question that's necessary. It's more like your open mindedness and you're willing to be involved in a community and kind of grow in the direction that's best for you. And I think these types of things, whether it's a cooking videos that people can follow or a festival, it's just something where people can actually get better and do better, feel better. If it's a story, a recipe, a history of a recipe, or a old cookbook, or a festival where they're having all kinds of fun things, it just makes people feel good. Everybody wants to feel good.
Yeah,
You know, I think it's a win-win.
it is.
So
It's a warm welcome hug. You're
it
welcome.
is.
Everyone. It's the best. Our festivals are not set up to help people. They're set up to help people feel welcome. And not be intimidated and not be attacked,
Yes.
for their not being at the same place or stage in their journey as somebody else is. And
Yeah.
that's what's important. That's why the inclusivity is incredibly important. That's why cooking demos need to be gluten free, maybe even nut free, so that everybody can actually partake, because as vegans we know what it's like to be excluded.
Yeah.
So as vegans, how can we exclude people who are gluten free? Because they can't eat the food. So let's make it so
Yeah.
everybody can eat, because it's easy. Your salad without the croutons is 100% gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's right.
easy to do, and if you don't want gluten, don't put these on. If you do, here this, and it still could be a Caesar salad without croutons, or
You
you can
could
do gluten
have,
free
yeah,
ones.
you could do gluten-free bread, or,
Yep.
sourdough doesn't offend, or doesn't not work for some people. It kind of depends on what you're tolerating, what your interests are with your bread. If you even eat bread, some people don't eat bread.
Right. Right.
It's just, there's so many different ways to be healthy, and that's right. As many people as you can try to appeal to, the better. There is a consciousness there. There is. And I guess, you know, the best way for me is just trying to be involved in watching shows like yours, Helene, and um, or getting out there. As much as I don't like to be in front of a camera, I'm in front of a camera, but I don't really feel like it's me. I feel like it's the content that is really important, and it's really exciting to research. So that's kind of where I ended up. I never thought of doing what I'm doing, but you kind of take where life you go where life takes you, and I'm grateful to be able to be involved in something creative. It just wasn't. It's always about the content for me. Even I do want to do another book, but it will always be about the content and trying to do things that are just entertaining and interesting. I think the world needs more of that.
Well, you're amazing, because everyone should know I have we hadn't met before. We talked on the phone yesterday, and I love hearing this, because it's about the community. It's not about ourselves or our egos. It's about doing what's right and best for those around us and the people that we touch, and for changing the world and saving the animals, and trying to get as many people on board, at this point, just saving the planet. You know, that's a big one. That's kind of trumping, because you didn't have 200 degrees, you didn't have 120-degree temperatures because, hey, it was just a freak thing. You had 120-degree temperatures because of climate change.
There's stuff going on that is hard to. There's just a lot going on right now, and I think people are generally overwhelmed. So whatever I can do to kind of take their mind off of that helps them live a healthier lifestyle, I'm on board. Um, and I'm really excited to hear about your festival, because I wish I could go. Um, but it's just the more things that there are to make people feel good and that are healthy, spiritually, I think the better, and I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah, well, thank you for all that you're doing, because it's pretty awesome. And I love that it comes from a place that's pure. And
Thank you.
that definitely comes through. So I hope everyone else feels that, but I feel that. So and it definitely comes through. So thank you.
Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I don't hear that often. I'm kind of stuck in my weird cocoon over here, but it's very nice to know that you appreciate it.
Yeah.
That means I'm on the right path. So thank you.
Oh, definitely. Did you say that you mentioned New York? Are you originally from there?
Yeah, I'm from the East Coast, so I went to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, and I studied fine arts. And when I graduated, I kind of was inspired. I was exploring Manhattan's food scene when I was in college, and just it blew my mind away. Just the cultural diversity of the food. And one of my favorite foods was a tofu burger at this place called Dojo's,
Been there.
and
Love it. It's gone. I'm so
it's
sad.
gone.
Yeah, they
It's gone.
closed they closed the East Village one first, and the West Village one I'm pretty sure closed too. With the ginger dressing on the salad.
Come on, the carrot ginger dressing.
Yep.
Yeah, I lived there in college. Remember that burger? Is that burger to die for? Or
And
and then the brand.
it was like $6.
Oh,
It was like six
yeah.
dollars.
Oh, it was so affordable. and natural and practical. It just fueled me. It blew my mind. It opened my mind. So that dojos was something that stuck with me, as well as this woman named Martine, who is a macrobiotic. Talk about that. That's a tough road, that diet for me anyway. Might work for some people, not me. But I tried it, and she was just an inspiring person. The way she kept her kitchen, her her aura, the way she was. I can't put my finger on it. Something about her just was so inspiring to me. I wanted to go to culinary school. I wanted to learn about cooking. So in New York, I enrolled in one of the first culinary schools of this kind of like a health forward chef training program. And it wasn't just vegan. It was basically I was training to cook for people that were ill or had um, imbalances like cancer or diabetes or cholesterol, very serious conditions. And I would go out there and make food for people that really weren't well. That's what I trained to do. And through that experience, I started changing. I had well, I've never really told anybody this, but hey, why not? I struggled really badly with an eating disorder when I was in. It started in junior high, and then it really kind of blew up in high school, late high school, and college. And I didn't really even know I was sick until I was sick. So that's the problem with these types of things. Your mind kind of disintegrates without nutrition. And this way of living really saved me. When I went to culinary school, I was better. I'd already been in therapy. I had to go to therapy. It was pretty severe, but I wasn't. My mind wasn't changed. My body wasn't changed. When I went to this school, I really learned how to take care of myself, and I was extremely malnourished spiritually and nutritionally. So this way of eating changed my life, and that was really my road. That was really the nugget that got me going, and why when I talk about it, I am definitely speaking from experience. If I can change, and I grew up on it, like like you, I did not like my mom's cooking. I'm sorry, mom. It was very. I'm Italian, so very heavy, thick tomato sauce, lots of cheese, lots of meat, stewed meat. Chicken cacciatore, brejol, you name it, eggplant, parmesan. It was just very heavy food, and I just didn't like it. And I had, without knowing, I had chronic problems growing up. I didn't have good digestion, and but when I started eating like this, it changed my whole. I never knew you could feel the way I felt. I never knew you could change the way I changed. It was just remarkable. And my benchmark is plant-based food. It's my set point. I always go back there. If something's not right, I know how to cook this way. I've cooked for many people that were not well, and I know it really does change people's lives. And my life is a I'm living testimony of that you can change your life. I came from a very dark place. So if I can do it, anybody can. Doesn't matter how bad you feel. You can make your life better.
Well,
So
well, thank you for sharing that.
sure.
It's a little piece of information that you didn't plan on, but thank you.
No, no, I've never really uh, revealed that, but I think it's important for your viewers. You're saying not judgmental and be open about yourself. It's if that can help one person, then that's good. You just got to be yourself wherever you are. So
Yeah, that's true. And there are definitely people. There's definitely people who have been on who also suffer from eating disorders. So thank you for sharing. And it's not a bad thing to share. I think for people to realize that you can get healthier
you
and
can,
mentally and physically.
mentally and physically, and the thing is, if there are girls out there that are struggling with their body image, and that's a mental thing, but the way eating this way, if I had known what I knew after I did this, when I was suffering from body issues and all that mental stuff that you go through when you're not eating right, um, it feels so good to eat this way. You just They should incorporate this into healing processes for people that are suffering from that kind of mental illness. It's really the way the food digests and the way it goes into your body. I think it would help a lot of people that are going through that. A lot of anyone, men, women, whoever is doing it. It would really kind of help people a lot. So
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went your everything that it sounds like every step that you took was just your path. I mean,
Yeah.
you really just went towards a path that you didn't really know was your path, and you just kind of went and made your way to, and you're still doing that. So that's incredible.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you look back and I guess somehow it does it's some kind of a weird winding road that's on course. But yeah, that's a good way to put it. It kind of, I guess I wouldn't have changed anything if I had to go back. I'd kind of plow through it again to learn what I've learned. I wouldn't want
Right.
to go back there, but
Right. Exactly. So when were you in New York City eating at Dojo?
so gosh, in the 90s, would you say
Mm-hmm.
the 90s?
Is in the
Yeah,
90s?
oh yeah, the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, I was eating at dojos. And
We were probably there together.
wow. Well, oh, let me throw this out. Were you around Chelsea neighborhood?
Around the Chelsea neighborhood. I hung out more so in the East Village.
Yeah, I was. Well, that's where campus was. But there was a dumpling house. It's long gone, I'm sure. But there was like a dumpling house, vegan. They had vegan dumplings, but they had these tofu dumplings. And it was right next to McDonald's, which is hilarious. But they had this tahini sauce. Again, I was addicted to it. Tahini, the hole in the wall place, but tofu dumplings, tahini sauce, brown rice, and some steamed vegetables. That's it. It was so, and I know how to do it. Everybody, this is really cool. It's basically the trick is I don't know if anyone's against peanut oil. I'm not because I love the flavor of it. But you mix tahini when you're making it with peanut oil and be generous with your salt and pepper. It is to die for. Add a little drop of soy sauce, but it's a magic combination. I'm gonna have to. I kind of know it by heart, so I couldn't give you the exact measurements, but it is absolutely delicious on brown any grain, wheat, rice, whatever you're making, quinoa. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's on your plate. It's like a magic sauce, kind of like chili oil. And just put it on everything. So good,
Do you remember
super
the name of
flavorful.
it? Do you remember the name of it?
No, no, and I think the name was it was a different language. It was an Asian language. I don't know if it was Korean or Chinese, but the sign was in a different language. And when I
Okay.
say hole in the wall, it was a hole in the wall. It was just a little, and the lady was always in a bad mood. She was always in a bad mood. I'd always ask for extra sauce, and she'd kind of be like, no, but I did anyway. But it's so good, just the best. I still remember it, and it was foods like that inspired me. I was like, I have to learn how do people do this. And you look at tahini, and it's so easy, but when you're not eating that way, this stuff is all like foreign, and it
Yeah.
seems like magical and way away from you, and so difficult. It's not. It's really not. It's aquafaba is just bean juice,
Right.
basically.
What a great transition.
We're
Well,
gonna rip the band-aid right off.
right off. Yeah. It's just hard to make it into like the I haven't done it yet, but I've heard that there's a lot of trial and error to the point where there's like whole Facebook groups about aquafaba. So,
Oh no, it's I think, again, there's all different types of people. Some are more articulate in expressing themselves than others. So, everyone approaches learning in a different way, but I love to get in there and just wing it. And aquafaba, geez, I mean, there's a little glossary in my cookbook. You can use it for eggs. Basically, I think it's 3 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons. I forgot the exact measurement for one egg. That's it. Literally, your your bean juice in your can. Save it. Put it in your fridge for. I think it'll last for like 5 days. But I think 2 tablespoons are literally. I have it right here. I didn't memorize it. I use so many different things for egg replacer. It's whatever I have on flax seeds, flour, vegetable shortening, and water. There's a lot of different ways you can replace eggs in your recipes. But I
seltzer. You can replace eggs with
seltzer.
seltzer.
I haven't tried that. I haven't tried that one. I want to tell you what it is exactly because I think that's helpful to know. But anyway, you can whip it to make an egg white, or meringue. I mean, okay. So, oh, I don't even say it in here. I don't have it here. I have it in the recipes. I think it's 2 tablespoons, and 1 tablespoon of water. So mixing like 2 tablespoons of aquafaba with 1 tablespoon of water will give you your egg in your recipe. Yeah, I mean, in this, I use flax seeds. I use non-hydrogenated vegetable shortening flour and water. And I tell you how to make them at home. And I apologize. I'd probably have to go through this to find the exact aquafaba one. But I use it in a couple of recipes in here as well. But it's super easy to use. I mean, yes, don't just do it. It's so useful. And I think the chickpea aquafaba is the best one because you want it to resemble that of an egg white. So if you use like lentil aquafaba or lentil bean juice, you have to, put it on the stove and reduce it till it gets thicker and kind of gelatinous. So that's the trick. So if you're using black bean or lentils, it's going to be a little thicker than a little thinner than the chickpea one. So that that's one thing you need to know, I guess. Just make sure it's the right thickness before you measure it out for your recipe.
Well, that's awesome. Laura, thank you so much
You're welcome.
for being a part of this today. It's been a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it has been. It's been great getting to know you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. So just since we didn't talk about this prior, I go back to by myself and close out. Please feel free to stick around and we can talk a little bit more after I'm done.
Sounds good. That
Okay.
sounds great.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Bye. Well, everyone, thank you again for joining Virtual Vegfest Live. And a couple of things that are happening. You can go to, actually, no, we didn't do. Go to lauracrotty.com and check out and buy her book and follow her blog and follow her social media, which is Broiled Grapefruit. And on Twitter, I think it's _ Crotty, or it's Crotty _ Laura. So I forgot to do that before we close out. So just lauracrotty.com and get all the information that you need and where you can buy that book. So a couple of things going on. We want to hear why you're vegan. So go to It's Really Vegan. No, that's not it. That's pancakes. whyamivegan.com. Why am I vegan? Yeah, I think that's it. whyamivegan.com and tell us why you're vegan. That's a little experiment that we're doing. Actually, whyamivegan.com isn't set up yet, so it'll be set up soon. I'm a little off. But the vegan stew. The vegan stew is coming in August. What is the vegan stew? The vegan stew is a talk show of ladies that'll be on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And go like the vegan stew on Facebook, theveganstew.com. Go do that. That'd be really neat because it's coming and it's going to be a conversation that is going to stir the pot. We promise you. We're not going to shy away from any topic whatsoever. Next week, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I'm live with Kaylin Otto. She has been traveling and she wrote a book and you'll get to know her, which will be a lot of fun. And then we're only once a week now, and that'll carry forward because we have so many events. But like I said, subscribe to Virtual Vegfest on YouTube. Go to virtualvegfest.com and shop and enter our contests. And we really appreciate you and your support. Come out to our events in person. Vegfestexpos.com is where you can find all the details there. And have a great rest of your Thursday and weekend. Bye, everyone.